Welcome to Miss Deja Tutor. My name is Miss Deja. I'm an academic tutor in Los Angeles, California. I'm very passionate about education, and I'm wanting to give you parents all the 411 and the info and the latest on what's going on in the education system in California. So first things first, we're going to get into how there is a declining enrollment in Cali. So what that means for you parents, a lot's happening. There's a lot of changes taking place, and you guys need to know what's going on. You may be from different districts. So some of you all may be from Pasadena. Some of you may be in LAUSD. Some of them, there's so many I don't even know. But I just want you guys to listen to what's going on. Be informed of the changes, and give me some of your feedback. Let me know what you all are thinking. How is this transition, which you're about to hear, how is that going to work out for you? What are your thoughts? Because these are your kids that are in these schools, and the district, they're not really making it in California, in district schools are not really making this known. So it's gonna be a really big game changer, and I want you guys to be ready for this. So listen out. So first off, California is facing a big decline in student enrollments for K-12 schools. This means that schools funding is at risk, okay? So far, the school districts in Cali are considering changing its approach to how they fund schools. If the enrollment rates keep decreasing, school districts may have to consider staff layoffs. So this won't just be an effect that takes place and messes around with the settings of kids and parents, but also people who are working in the school district. So any of you parents who are actually working there, or you know someone, your family members work in the school district, this will eventually affect them too. This will obviously affect students in low-income schools. Yeah. And create a bigger disproportionate environment for our children. So we already have COVID pandemic, after COVID, we have all these issues taking place. We're just, I don't know, money is flying everywhere, but is it going the right direction? Is it really going to help these kids? So when I'm saying about low income students in these schools that are not always, they don't have all the supplies and the resources, is looking bad. So I want to let you guys know, let's just start off from the beginning. So this is how it works. The LCFF, which stands for Local Control Funding Formula. This is how the district schools get their money, okay? Basically, there's this formula. All the money comes from your property tax. So if you're a property owner out there, yes, your property taxes contribute into this formula. It's the funding, okay? Matched or in addition to the state funding, okay? They put it in this little formula thing and they say, all right, schools, this is how much money you're gonna get, okay? So that formula is based off of the average daily attendance, AKA ADA, average daily attendance. They're trying to change that because guess what? Kids are not in schools. So if kids aren't in schools, we can't get paid. So they're trying to revamp that from the get-go, all right? School districts want to change how they are funded and rely on students' enrollment. So in a nutshell, I'm gonna get to it, so just hold up, okay? Because we gotta go through some things. So let's talk some numbers, okay? So according to the Department of Finance, K-12 grade schools will have a 9% decrease in enrollments, which is about 540,000 students in the next decade. Yeah, so not looking good. Basically, they're projecting that enrollments in schools is going to decline. They say it's different reasons, birth rates, migration. So a lot of people left Cali. Yeah, we know that, right? Okay, a lot of people left Cali. And in that leaving California, they're taking their kids with them, families, they're moving out. So you have that to consider. You have to consider a lot of students are misplaced right now. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there are so many traumatic and issues just happening with these kids, okay? Some of these students are facing homelessness. They're displaced. They may be dealing with their family members, and their family members aren't engaged in their education. I don't know, they have life things going on, so they're not really involved. So you have that factor to consider. These kids are not showing up, okay? And that's just gonna keep going, and it's gonna go downhill. So the district, they know this and they're planning for it. Watch this. California is projected to have $27 billion spending power over the next 5 years. That's a lot of money. More than what they're giving Ukraine. I'm being real with you. More than what they're giving Ukraine. So that $27 billion is going to be cut. It's going to be cut because if the enrollments keep declining, that funding will be limited in less than $7.5 billion. Around there or less than. You do the math, but I already know it's an easy number, okay? So you're looking at all of that combined, okay? So that $27 billion, they're like, we already know it's gonna go downhill, so why put that investment? It's a money game. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But they're also trying to figure out which is the best route, okay? As a result, hey, and I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean, how this budget really affects individuals personally. So if you have $27 billion in spending power, but you have a declining number rate and it's going by fast in these school districts, the district's just gonna say, okay, well, here's your money for right now. Let's say I pretend I give you a big check, okay? I give you a big check for about 3 years time. This one big payment will help you get employees because you'll have more spending power for programs, bring on new people, hire new people, open these resources up, more learning opportunities, more programs. You know, you guys have Edgenuity. Those are investments, okay? So the district will open the door for that because they have more money. But when they start to see how, oh, we don't have any kids to pay for this, then it's like, oh, we got to cut the program. You cut the program? Yes, what does that mean? In other words, we got to lay people off. We can't afford to pay you anymore. And they're just going to cut. They're just going to cut it. It is what it is in their mind. They got to keep the ball rolling. So that's an example of what will take place if they continue on this route with the ADA, okay? Average daily attendance. If they keep funding schools in this way, you're looking for that up ahead. That's what they're saying. Categorical funding limits how they spend their money. If it's in the form of categorical, that means there's a one-time check. It doesn't last for long. And when the money runs out, the district can't support the staffs that they hired before. That's what that's all about. So here's part two. Part two says that the big debate. This is the big debate. Obviously, they are trying to figure out which is the best way to fund schools. So will schools be funded by enrollment or will schools be funded by attendance? Depending on how the district sees it in the legislatures as well, how they see it as the most effective route. Remember I mentioned the LCFF? That may be too complicated. And depending on if they want to revise that, because if they go through enrollment form, they have to revise a bill. And I'm going to tell you about that bill. Proposition 98 is based on revenues funding levels. So if they decide to go through enrollment, they have to go back to the drawing board and revamp that because all their money comes from Prop 98. And if they decide, hey, we're not doing it based off of that formula I mentioned before, yeah, they got to fix that. Let's talk about funding by attendance versus funding by enrollment. So if you fund by attendance, they're going to make it a point for your child to go to school. So that means, you know how they were pushing the vaccine and they pretty much had a lot of propaganda towards that word propaganda? That's what you're looking forward to if they go by this ADA, the attendance version, because we don't get money if your kid don't come to school, okay? So that's how they're seeing it, and that's what they'll make it a point to do. They're going to be pushing you all. They're going to be saying, They need to go to school because it's a priority. They need to go to school because if they're not in class, how will they learn? So, excuse me, you'll see a lot more of that propaganda if they decide to go by the attendance version. If they decide to go by the other version, which is funding by enrollment, this is what you gotta look at. Watch this, because this is how it gets real crazy. The underlying message is this. If it's by funding through enrollment, schools with low enrollment are gonna be shut down. So picture it like this. You don't have any kids coming to class. You don't have no one coming. No one's registered. Nobody's here. So one school that has 15,000, and then you have another school that only has, 5,000? And they're a public school. They're not a charter. They're a public school. Maybe even if they are a charter, cut it. They're not there. There's no money there. And especially if you're a low-income school, what's the point? Your grades, your testing scores aren't high. Your enrollments haven't increased. What else? You have high turnover, teachers come and go. What else? There's no growth, no extracurricular programs, nothing that says this is a good investment as a school. We're gonna cut it. We don't need it. Figure out your life. Go figure out somewhere else. But like I mentioned before, how there's a lot of students who are displaced. They're saying that absenteeism is high right now. And so it makes more sense for them to get funded based off of enrollment. And they're making their job easier. Because if your kid doesn't come to class, they don't have to call you out for truancy. They don't have to call you out for, hey, your child didn't come to school, just want to let you know. You get those emails, those automated voice messages. No, because guess what? Your child's name is down in here, so we have them. We have them in our database. We have them in our files. We get money whether they're here or not. And also, when you open the door, going back to attendance, the attendance funding option, these schools have been faced with more than what they can bargain for. With the students being so displaced and having real hard times right now, foster youth, homeless youth, they may have families, but like I said, they're all over the place. They go from one parent to the next parent to the next relative to the next relative. They have to track those kids down. They have to do it. They don't want to do that. It's too much work. When they find a kid, for example, they find a student who was sleeping in the car with their parents because they don't have nowhere to stay. They don't have a house to go to. That district now has to find a home for them. Do you think they have the time? Do you think they have the resources? Do you think they have the capability, the concept to even go that route? No. They're trying to make their job easier. So by doing that, they cut all their losses. They cut all the nooks and crannies and the details. And they say, we can get paid. We can still get paid if they're in our database. Basically, that's what it boils down to. Because once you find out that you have a kid who's very truant, who's constantly truant, and you go after that kid and you get the strings attached and you figure out, oh, they have life issues, you don't want to deal with that. CPS has to get involved, transportation issues, all of that is too much detail. So we're just going to wrap it up and we're going to say, make it enrollment based. That's the more general route they'll take. And what I just told you was just the basic reasons why, to sum it all up. That's what is really happening. So how this will affect you all as parents and your children is just to show you that the district is pulling back off of a lot of their influences and their assistance, so to speak. But there's a lot more that's under the table. So when you think about the enrollment-based situation, they explained it like this. You'll have winners and losers. With your winners, that obviously means schools that will stand. They'll still be open. Your losers are schools that won't have any funding. They can't keep enrolling. They can't keep the doors open. So they'll be cut. So imagine you bus, those of you who have your children bus to schools. If that school shuts down, you're gonna have to find a new location. So transportation is gonna be another issue. Is it a public vote or is it a school board decision? I believe it's just the school board because there's a bill out. Let me take a look at SB 830 because that's the bill they're pushing for California's enrollment-based funding for school districts. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot from it. I hope that you gathered your thoughts. I hope that you all have a plan ready and set to go. I always do videos like this just to give parents the 411, the info, the updates on what's going on, because these are issues that are going to obviously end up affecting them. So if you guys have any type of response, any type of, I don't know, you want to know about anything else, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get the 411 and the details on everything that's going on in the education system. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Take care. Bye.